some of the verdicts coming in. It is quickly coming in here. From inside, we are starting to hear that there are guilty. There are guilty verdicts from our producer inside. We're hearing guilty on 1 through 5. 1 through 12, we have now 13, 14 guilty. 15 guilty. You may up to 18 counts. 19 guilty. Remember, we have 34 here. 20 guilty. And again, these counts were very similar. What they were looking at, it was different occurrences essentially of the same crime, a misdemeanor that was elevated by being linked to a felony, to an underlying crime. We are now 24 counts in, all guilty from inside. This is what we are hearing from our producers. Up to 26 guilty. Now remember, each of these counts could maximum have 4 years in jail. President Trump would be considered a first-time offender. These are non-violent crimes. So it seems that it is unlikely the judge would sentence him to prison. But we are now up to 31 counts guilty out of 34. 32 guilty. Also coming in from inside the courtroom. Our producers now saying 33 and 34. They're saying guilty on all 34 charges.
Thank you very much.
Mr. President, can you tell us, sir, Donald Trump refers to himself as a political prisoner and blames you directly. What's your response to that, sir?
Trump was just found guilty for his hush money. The verdict came back and they said he was guilty. But let me be the first to let them corrupt, sleazy motherfuckers know at November 5th, I'm still voting for Donald Trump. I don't give a fuck if he's on a ballot or not. I'm gonna write his motherfucking name down. Trying to throw this man in jail for some bullshit that Sleepy Joe do. All my black, white, Asian, Hispanic, and Indian Americans, we gonna form motherfucking Voltron on November 5th. Yeah, boy, it's gonna be electrifying. It's gonna be the most emotional, impactful movement in fucking history.
My nigger Trump was set up by the system, man.
He was set up by the system.
My nigger Trump.
They're trying to keep a black man down.
My nigger
in
Trump.
America, of all places.
My nigger Trump.
Yo, what's goody? I am Wavy. Welcome to the Shadow Realm, because my videos continue to get shadow banned by the powers that be, and it is what it is. If you haven't heard, Donald Trump got convicted 34 felonies. All right, this is the first time ever a president has been not only indicted, but convicted of 34 felonies. And from what I could see, it's a political hit job. All right, there were so many things to this case. All right, there were no cameras allowed. There was gag orders put in place. This entire case was crazy because they had this information, like they say 8 years ago at least, and it could go back further, but they decided to do this case now of all times. All right, and for what? Because he paid for a little bit of pussy. Now, as far as I know, as far as I can go back, the rich and elite men of this world have always done things like that. Like, are we acting like if this is something new? We hear all the sexy Reds and Cardi B's talking about the Birkin bags and stuff like that. We hear all the female rappers talking about this. Don't you think that sometimes these men are funding their lifestyles? Isn't Jeff Bezos messing with Lotto or something like that?
Agreement had a payment of money, $700,000 plus a statement by the president redeeming Paula Jones's reputation.
And what's your understanding of this agreement?
It's a cash payment of $850,000.
There's the check.
And show them the check.
There's the check.
It's your check.
Well, it's not going to be seen.
Look, I said, I'm leaving in 6 hours. If the prosecutor's not fired, you're not getting the money. Well, son of a bitch. Got fired.
What's funny to me is that this story's come to light when we know a lot of other stories over the years have not come to light this fast, have not come to the public this fast. I'm speaking about the Hillary Clinton emails that we know existed and were deleted from a hard drive on a private server or something along those lines. We also know about the Hunter Biden laptop. We know that that story was suppressed in 2020 to sway the election. All right. We also know about the Jeffrey Epstein flight logs, which those lists have not come out and been made public in its entirety. Okay. All of those things over many years. And we're talking about Donald Trump paying for a little bit of hush money, paying for a little bit of pussy. That's really what we're talking about here. The craziest thing is they think that all of this stuff is going to hurt Trump, and he continues to build momentum. Every time they put out a piece on him, every time they take him to trial, every time they bring up a new case on him, it only gains his popularity.
Well, if my phone and the text messages I'm receiving are any indication, every Republican in the country is madder than a wet hen. I mean, people who are decidedly non-MAGA, not Trump fans, are blowing up tonight saying this case never should have been brought. This is ridiculous charges. It was egregious use of the criminal justice system. And I mean, I'm hearing people say, I had no intention of voting for Donald Trump, and now I am. And then if you ask the Trump campaign what's happening, You know, they literally broke their online donation portal because people were rushing to the internet to give them money in the minutes after the verdict. So I think there's a real chance here. This is going to massively backfire on the Democrats and help Donald Trump.
Yeah. Mad out this bitch. Mad out this bitch.
How do you feel about Trump being convicted in New York City?
I vote for him in 2024.
You think people are still supporting him?
Of course they're supporting him.
Why?
Because he's Trump.
Name me 3 things Biden did for us for real.
I couldn't tell you.
And I'ma wait.
Shout out to my boy Trump, though. My boy Trump, I can't wait till you come home, boy. You gonna be the real one, boy.
Are you still voting for Trump?
Hell yeah! Who ain't gonna vote for him? My boy gonna be the president locked up. Okay.
That's it.
Hey, man. Free Trump!
Immediately following his indictment, okay, in the next about 8 to 10, 12 hours, depending on where you go exactly, his campaign was able to raise $35 million. Shout out to all the MAGA supporters. Shout out to all the Trump supporters. I myself made a little donation, not much, but this was all accumulated through small dollar donations. So I'm talking about $20, $30, $40, $50, $60. The presumptive GOP presidential nominees campaign said the haul was nearly double its previous single-day fundraising record on the WinRed platform for Republican donors. Previously, Trump already held the single-day fundraising record, and this doubled it. Actually, at one point, the WinRed platform crashed because so many people were giving donations so quickly, and that's amazing, man. That is amazing. I'm seeing so many people talking about that they never were gonna vote for Trump, and now because of this conviction, they are 100% voting for him because people are waking up. They see that something is going on when everybody is coming at this man from all angles, and we can all, or most of us, most of us reasonable, intelligent people can look at the state of the country now versus the state of the country 4 years ago, 5 years ago, 6 years ago, and we could all say collectively, if we're being honest with ourselves, that we were in a better place nationally and globally.
He's a villain! Lock that motherfucker up!
One of the things Trump did under his presidency was rebuild the military. You know, new equipment, new everything. And when Biden pulled out of the Middle East, he left all that equipment in the Middle East. What do you think that they're using now? Palestine, who doesn't have a military, doesn't have a navy, an army, nothing like that. Where do you think they're getting the weapons from? Where do you think they have all this machinery from? I believe a lot of it came from what was left in the Middle East when America pulled out. Trump's campaign said it was overwhelmed with support minutes after the guilty verdict was announced. It claimed 29.7% of the contributors were brand new donors to the WinRed platform.
Plan in the basement said, quote, "We already have a nigger mayor. We don't need any more nigger big shots."
CBS News article says, is Trump going to prison? What to know about the possible sentence after his conviction? And that's what I'm wondering, and you know, I'm going to be checking up on and researching in the coming weeks. Are they going to try to accelerate his sentencing to really try to interfere with him for the election, to try to put him away before the election even takes place?
What's your response to that, sir?
When will Trump be sentenced? The judge set a July 11th date for sentencing following the jury's verdict on Thursday. The timing is in line with similar white-collar felony cases where sentencing often takes place anywhere from 3 to 8 weeks after conviction. Then it goes on to say the sentencing will happen 4 days before the start of the Republican National Convention.
Thank you very much.
Do y'all see what they're doing? This whole case, all of it, and might I add that this was a weak case. Okay, this is all that you could find on him. Y'all are looking for a smoking gun. Y'all are looking for him to have, you know, sent some money to some shady person or something like that. And this is all y'all find, that he paid a little bit of hush money to a former corn star. And if you put it in perspective, $160,000 for a billionaire like Trump, is that really a lot of money? Like, we talking about pennies to him. And then the article goes on to say what to expect from sentencing. The minimum sentence for falsifying business records in the first degree is 0. So Trump could receive probation or conditional discharge, a sentence of no jail, or up to 4 years for each offense. And remember, it's 34 counts. All right, and this judge, I don't know what's up with him. More what I think is going to happen is what this CNN article says. Trump vows to appeal felony conviction. Here's how Trump appeals process could play out. Under New York law, any appeal of the verdict comes after the sentencing. Trump's sentence date is currently scheduled for July 11th. As a defendant, Trump then has 30 days to file a notice of appeal. Once that notice is filed, Trump's legal team would typically have 6 months to complete all the paperwork. Once the appeal is fully submitted, attorneys for the Manhattan DA's office would likely be given approximately 30 days to file a response. Trump's legal team will have one more opportunity to submit a brief filing. Then there goes on to a hearing in front of the Appellate Division First Department, and that panel is not subject to a deadline. If the lower appeals court ultimately rejects Trump's appeal and upholds the jury verdict, Trump can take it to the Court of Appeals, New York's highest court. If the Court of Appeals decides to consider his case, which is not required to, another similar lengthy briefing process would begin before a panel of judges who would eventually hear arguments and deliver a written decision, likely months after the argument. So this whole thing could play out, and Trump could very well be elected and a sitting president when this all plays out. And how is that going to go? I'm not sure. We've never seen anything done like this, so I don't know how this will go. But in doing some research and finding out how Trump's appeals process is going to go, I don't know. I don't know, yo. Good luck, brother Trump.
Thank you very much.
Good luck, because I stereotype, and if their ideologies are what I'm thinking they are, and I could be wrong because people probably look at me and wouldn't think certain things, so I get it. But if this is your path to freedom, brother Trump, I don't know. I'm gonna pray for you, man. I'm really gonna pray for you. You're still here. I appreciate you for real, for real. How do you feel about this? Do you think Trump deserves to be in jail? Lock him up, throw away the key, 34 counts, felony counts, and who knows what else he's guilty of out there, because this is the only thing that's come to the light, and we don't know. Trump is a shady guy. We always heard about him being shady behind the scenes. No Diddy. Who knows? Or do you think this is a sad day in this country? For real, for real. Like, how are we going to sit around, see this happen to a president and think that it can't happen to regular people like us? You know, for whatever, for political gain, because you are beating your opposition politically, and now they've weaponized multiple departments of our justice system. Do you think that that's right? Like, we say Putin is a dictator. We say Hitler was a dictator because they weaponized, you know, the Department of Justice at the time. Is that not what Biden is doing right now to Donald Trump? Maybe I have it all wrong. Y'all let me know in the comments below. Before I get to my final clip, I'm about to go fire up this grill, enjoy this nice weather, and y'all stay wavy.